Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Throw Punch Lunch. We're breaking the mold, folks. I've got a great episode for you this week. We have episodes on Dead of Winter, two of them actually, from two different aspects. They're different enough. I think they're great. We've got a segment on Warquest, a brand new miniatures game that has a ton of miniatures. We've got a segment on a little skirmish level miniature game called Anima. We have Bower is punching himself in the throat again, so everything is just exactly where it should be. We have a lot of great segments, but hey, look, you're not here to hear me talk, you are here to hear them talk. So let's get down to the contributors. Let's go.
Hey everybody, this is the Undead Viking with Throw Punch Lunch. I do apologize, I missed last week, but I'm going to come back with a vengeance here, and I'm going to talk to you about this Ameritrash awesomeness that is Warquest. Warquest is a game that was funded through Kickstarter. It is coming from Glenn Drover. You probably know him. It's coming from Mr. B Games and L4 Development, and they have made a completely awesome throwback fantasy warfare game that I know you're going to love. So let's just dive in, and I'll show you what it looks like and show you how it plays. Alright, so this is Warquest, and this is going to be really tough for me to talk to you about it in 4 minutes or less, and I'm going to try not to talk too fast. Somebody said I was like going a mile a minute the last time I did one of these, but regardless, this is the world of Morathia, and I realize I'm covering it up with a lot of miniatures, because you get a ton of miniatures with this game, and the expansions and what have you. This is like a ton of plastic, a ton of little creatures that you're going to be running around the board, and because, you know, this isn't a game where, like, you have one monster, and then, like, you have the 5 followers, so you put cubes behind them. No, you're putting all of your entire army, when you put your army together, in a spot and moving it. So you need this giant board so you can hold all the plastic awesomeness that you're going to be using to create your armies. No, so the premise of this game is that this is the world of Morathia, and basically this is a very fertile land. And then it had humans weren't here before, and so there was just like the elves were here, and the goblins were here, and the orcs were here, and the dwarves were here, and so on. And then the humans found out about it, and they came here, and they waged war against the demi-humans, and they drove them out. They drove them out to the outskirts where the wastelands were, where it wasn't as nice. But then the humans got greedy, as they always do, and they started fighting with each other. And after hundreds of years of civil war, all of the human kingdoms were just lay roughshod. They just had no ability to defend themselves anymore, and they just declared a truce. And then the demi-humans saw that as an opportunity to rage and war with the humans to reclaim what was once theirs. But they needed war leaders to do that. And so each player is a charismatic warlord that is going to rally all these different demi-human races to their side, and then, you know, basically by giving them gold. They are mercenaries after all. But then, and they're going to wage war and take over what was once theirs. But the game lasts a certain number of turns, and after the turns are over, whoever has proven themselves to be the greatest warlord will then rule over Morathia and rule over all of the demi-human races. Now, this isn't a game where you're just playing the dwarves, you're just playing the orcs, you're just playing the goblins. No, you actually get to recruit all sorts of creatures into your race. So you could have like a bunch of, you know, like elven archers in your group, and then you could also, you know, make sure that you have some shock troops, so make sure you get some minotaurs to fight for you. And then final off, you need some cavalry, right? Well, get that dwarven bear cavalry in there, and then so they can make sure that to really run down your opponents, you know, and take them out. And so you're going to be able to concoct these crazy armies, and you're going to go one-on-one against all, well, I shouldn't say one-on-one, you're like, you play like tons of players, so but you've got to make sure and that you not only protect what you own, but you're also going to have to conquest and take things out. And as I said, you can go on quests, and there's all these locations, like, you know, the City of the Ancients, I said, the Dead Lake, there's all kinds of other places, the Pit, and so forth. And then there's these quest cards that basically you can take a break from, like, you know, slaying your enemies, and send your warlord out on these quests to earn more gold and discover powers and things like that. I mean, there's just so much going on with this game that I really can't do it justice in this short period of time. But this is as throwback Ameritrash as it gets. The combats, you place all of your troops on these combat boards, and each person rolls a bucket full of dice to determine like how well their troops do, and then you determine casualties and go through a whole process. But it doesn't take a long time either. It isn't a situation where like you're waiting for like a battle to get done. This isn't like a Titan battle where you're waiting like 45 minutes for everybody to get done rolling all the dice. Battles are quick and decisive, and then you move on to the next one. The game's amazing. It's like shipping to backers now. It should be on stores soon. Check it out. It's awesome. So there you go. That's Throw Punch Lunch. I'm the Undead Viking, and you have yourself one heck of an awesome day.
Just coming towards the end of Dead of Winter, The Long Night, a very thematic game, and I'm joined with the guys, the gaming group. If you want to all say hello.
Hi guys.
So, what did we think of the game?
I think it adds quite a lot to the game, but it's still, if you know how to play Dead of Winter, it's very easy to pick up the extra bits. The new zombies are really nasty. Threat makes it a lot harder, and the bandits. The bandits are interesting. We didn't go and search the bandit hideout at all, but that's quite a nice. It's kind of a good thing, but also kind of a bad thing having these bandits around. So that's cool, and I really like the improvements that you make to the
I think that's
base as well.
One of my favourite things of the improvements as well. It gives you a bit of variety in terms of use this bit of junk or improve one of these, which actually helps you.
I quite like the bandits in that sometimes when you need a goal here and you might need food or tools and you haven't got it, sometimes you're kind of gambling, searching through a deck about trying to get it or making too much noise. Where if you see the bandits have nicked it, you can go there knowing that if you are successful, you are going to get what you want.
I really do like that feature of it, because it's like it saves you having to necessarily spend a lot of search actions for something, whereas if the bandit takes it and you're like, actually we need that, you don't have to waste that, you just have to get yourself across it. But obviously, there's the exposure dice, and if you roll as poorly as you do, then you'll lose like both characters in the first turn.
No joke.
So now you've never played Dead of Winter, is that
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is your first experience with the game. How are you finding it? You got the tough job. You were actually the betrayer.
Yeah, so I got to be the betrayer. I found it fun.
Yeah.
At the start I was a bit confused, but I found it quite easy to get into it, and then it got quite fun trying to sort of not reveal what I was trying to do.
Or mess everyone up at the same time.
Like, I think there was one occasion where I had to vote thumbs up or down, and I thought if I vote thumbs down it will help me, but if I vote thumbs up they won't realise, and I sort of thought, well, it's probably going to go to thumbs up regardless of what I do, so I'll just vote thumbs up as well to be seen as being good.
To be on side with everybody else.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, when I play the traitor in hidden role games and I'm the traitor, I'm not very good at hiding it. So, and I think you did well to stay in it as long as you did, because if me, personally, after that first sort of shady thing you did, I'd have booted you out. But I went along with the majority, and so here I was holding on. Okay, so you really enjoyed it. Excellent. And you've obviously played Dead of Winter before, so how do you think this compares to the first one?
I quite like it, especially the Crossroads cards. They seem to be a lot more character focus.
Yeah.
They seem to be, in this game more than any others I've played, it built up a lot more around having characters on the board, and it seemed building narratives, especially with certain characters in the game, which really added a lot of flavour to it.
Yeah, the Crossroad cards seem a lot more darker and also a lot more harsh. Like, they really can really change things.
I don't know if this is true with the original Dead of Winter, but the Crossroads cards stay in play. There's some that these two had a grudge and they couldn't be in the same location for a bit. I'm not sure how many actually stay around. I can't think of any.
There's a couple. There's the one where the policemen come and make you clear the town in exchange for guns.
But I quite like that, because it gives you a bit of history. Oh, I can't go there because of that thing that happened 2 turns ago. Regardless of that, you've got characters that actually matter. This character can't go there, but that one can.
Yeah.
There's also quite a nice bit of interplay between a couple of characters with one Crossroad card coming up that led to them interacting.
Yeah, so it's like, find this card within the deck and then this happens. No, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was a huge fan of the first game anyway, so the changes that they've made, I do really like, and it doesn't feel like there's been too much change.
Yeah.
So they've added quite a fair bit of new stuff. Like, I've read various reviews saying a lot of it's been recycled, but I have to disagree with that. I feel like more of it's new than recycled, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this and these are exactly the
Although
same.
this is better quality. Like, if you remember the first ones, you were just like things hard, but that's...
But content-wise, they're exactly the same. But that's kind of cool. Because it means you can play it as the base game, or you can...
Well, you can play with
these
modules as well. So you could have the improvement cards, but not the Raxon sensor, or you can have the bandits, but not the improvement cards.
Make it easier. Raxon makes it a lot harder. Bandits kind of could go either way. So you can tailor the difficulty a bit more.
But it's not overbearing. The fact that you've never played this game before and we've added all of the new modules in and you've handled it absolutely fine, I think that's really good. I mean, so as an Ameritrash game, which Deadwood clearly is, the new one I'm liking, and you guys seem to enjoyed it. Really
There's a lot
enjoyed
more
it.
luck in this one, I think.
Yeah.
With a bit more risk
What's an
reward.
Ameritrash game? It's mostly going to be luck.
Well, I see even more.
You
You've
can
got
mitigate it to a certain extent, but
Yes.
we're going to continue playing this game, and thanks for joining us.
Hey everyone, this is Tim Jeanette, the Metal Meeple, and this is the Miniature Breakdown. So in this episode, we're going to take a look at Anima Tactics. It's a skirmish level miniature game, very anime style game where you basically have about 5 to 10 models against each other, and all the moves are just over the top. The biggest thing I remember about this game is the first time I played it, somebody played their first move and they attacked me first. They literally moved like 20 inches across the board. You're only playing on a 4 foot by 4 foot area, and just hit my guy so hard he almost died. And I'm like, is that super broken? And then I played and did the same thing. So all the abilities are really crazy and just over the top. It's a very outlandish game, and it's super fun. So let me show you some of the models I have. This is my 300 point Samael army, and basically you can choose to do a faction in which you can include all light models or dark models, or you can include some neutrals. But you can also do organizations. You get a smaller amount of models to pick from, but then they give you some benefits. So let me kind of show you the cards here. Each character is going to come with a card, and it has all these statistics. And the biggest thing is the game works off action points. So each round, the game comes with, every model comes with enough of these little blue chips to fill up their board here. But each round you're going to receive the amount of blue action points on this character, but not to exceed the maximum number of action spots they have. And then you can see all the special abilities he has, and that's how many actions they cost. Action points they cost. You also have a list of normal action stuff that you can do. And what's interesting about the game is your character activates, you do as much as you want with them based on your action points, and then when you're done, you just exhaust the card by rotating it 90 degrees. So I'm not sued here. Anyway, that's a joke for Magic. But anyway, once you do that, then the opponent gets to move a character and do the same thing. And you keep going until both players have exhausted all their characters. Then you reset and go back to a maintenance phase, and you get more points and such. The game works off 10-sided dice. When you fight, you roll this, and you add in an attack value. And if you hit the other person's defense, then you're going to do damage equal to your damage value. And everybody has hit points such as here. What's interesting is everybody has a different speed for move and run. And so you can see there's a lot on these cards. Sometimes the cards have so much text that they're really hard to read. These are just standard size cards. So anyway, what's even cooler, even cooler here is the book. The game comes with a rule book, and the artwork is just simply amazing in it. It's very, very cool and very well done. It covers all kinds of all the models, at least, well, most of the models in the game. Now, the game was discontinued in February 2015, so that just means you might be able to find this stuff really cheap online. But anyway, that's Anima Tactics. I hope you find it as enjoyable as I did. There's lots of resources online that you can get this stuff for free. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at timjeanette@gmail.com. Follow me on social media at the link stuff below. And until next time, keep on rocking and rolling dice.
Hey folks, welcome back to another segment of Accessorize with Throat Punch Lunch, and today we're taking a look at something that I almost found by accident. Not really, I was just goofing around the internet looking for stuff like this to see if it was out there, and lo and behold it was. These little things will basically be a shortcut for you, kind of a shortcut that will just simply bring your models alive as far as their bases are concerned and the textures on their bases. There are paints that you can use that will dry with a crackly little look, and there's all kinds of different things like that, but a simple, quick way to have textured bases are what are called base stamps. Now these look like just little pieces of rubber, and that's pretty much what they are, but they have a texture on them, if you can see that, and when you press your model base into those after you have applied some green stuff to it, it has a texture that looks like some kind of earth or cobblestone or whatever the texture is that you've chosen. So it's not difficult to use at all. Let's get down to the table and I'll show you. I'm going to be using green stuff, as you can see here, and I got that from Gale Force 9, so the green stuff basic epoxy, GFM310, and so that's what I'm using. And got some petroleum jelly here that helps keep this pliable and smooth, that type of stuff. And then your miniature bases, and I'm using the Broken Earth stamp because well, you'll see later when we start painting them because of the map that we're going to be using for the playthrough and all that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. You basically want to mix this one part for one part with the way it comes is like this. So you just take one for one and mix it together until it has that nice green color there. And then you're going to take one of your bases and take enough just to fill in the base of that miniature base there. So you just want to fill in the depression there and have it be as close to level as you possibly can. You just keep working it until you think you have the right amount there. So, and if it turns out that you don't have the right amount, you could always add more to it. But anyway, you put that in there and you just work it in, flattening it. A little goes a long way, more often than not. But you just keep it going in there. If it's getting a little sticky on you, you can use some of your petroleum jelly on your fingers, and that will help keep it from sticking to your finger a little bit, and it'll help smooth it out a little bit as well. So you want to try to make sure you don't come over the edge of the base, just go up to the edge of it and keep working it until it looks the way you want it to look. You can use your fingernails, or you can use tools that come with, and again you just want to get that so that it's level with the lip. And if you have any more there, then you just cut it off. And once it's smoothed down to your liking, you're going to take, now some people, and I'm one of those people, like to apply a little bit of petroleum jelly to the actual stamp because it helps not stick. Through trial and error, you can see that I actually did get some of that green stuff on there and it stuck. So you never know, just go ahead and add a little bit more to it and work it around a little bit. And then you just take your base and apply pressure to it as much as you want or as little as you want. Just depends on how much texture you want on that base. Then pull it off, and there you have a nice textured base that when you dry brush it, it's going to look really good. Now look, before you go all hog wild saying that this is like next level type stuff, this is the first time I've ever done this before in my entire life. I have never tried doing this before. I simply watched a few videos and got the stuff that I needed, sat down, did it. Shot the video, and now we're talking about it. So look, if you're thinking that this looks way too difficult, it really isn't. If you've ever played with Silly Putty before, that's pretty much the expertise that you need to make sure that the green stuff is mixed properly. And as far as leveling it down into the model and that type of thing, Not that difficult either. So please don't sell yourself short. If you have a chance, give it a try, and go by and see if Happy Sepulchre can set you up with some neat little things. Here's their website address right here. They haven't given me anything to do this. I just wanted to share it with you. So I hope that this will help you take your models to the next level. See you on the flip side.
Hey guys, it's Roy Cannaday from Epic Gaming Night, and this is Roll with the Punches, where we talk about randomness in games and how it can make a game exciting. This week we're going to continue looking at event cards in games, and we're going to take a look at the Crossroads systems from Dead of Winter. Check it out. Dead of Winter is a post-apocalyptic zombie game with a betrayer. You're trying to survive as a colony, work together as a team, and then sometimes there's a betrayer that's trying to screw those things up. The Crossroad cards are one of the most exciting event narrative mechanics I've seen for event cards in games. During each player's turn, the player that just went draws a card and basically looks for when the card will trigger on that player's turn. When the card triggers, they'll read the narrative, and there will be different choices that the player can make to see what happens to them. Feels very thematic, and there's even more cards when you add in the Long Night expansion for the game. There's all sorts of things that can happen, and it always keeps you on the edge of your seat, wondering if that card will trigger, if it will be good or bad, and it just drives home the theme of this game. So whenever an event triggers off of one of these Crossroad cards, you'll read out here the story of what's going on, and you'll have some different options. So I'll read one of them for you now to kind of show you the flavor and the story of the game. Kodiak Kobe. You cry out in terror as a zombie bear lurches towards you, its intestines dragging through the gravel behind it. Cornered in an alley, you press against a dumpster and prepare to meet death. But then a bold cry echoes from high, and lo, a mighty outdoorsman leaps from a nearby tree and lands upon the bear's back. The beast heaves and lets out a sickly growl, but the newcomer holds tight before applying a furious chokehold. Minutes later, the bear lays decapitated on the ground, and your rugged savior gives you a hand up before offering to teach you how to succor on nature's generous bosom. You have two different options here. You can run naked through the woods with your newfound friend and perhaps for the first time truly be free. Or you can say, man, I appreciate the save, but I'm not suckling from anything. One of the options will allow Kodiak Kobe to join you. The other one, he'll leave dejected. So it's really awesome, the theme that these cards add to the game and kind of the insanity that goes along with it. What are the options here? What do I want to do? This card's normally pretty good overall. Either nothing happens or Kodiak Kobe helps you out, but sometimes there can be multiple bad choices or different things. So yeah, that's one of the Crossroad cards. I really love how the Crossroads mechanic works for event cards. It really helps to inject theme when the event card triggers like in the middle of the turn because of something you specifically did. A lot of times it could be like, oh, I went to the school, so an event triggers that actually has to do with going to the school. Or you did a search action and a thing actually triggers because of search actions. Or you killed a zombie and something triggers because of that specifically. So it helps make the game feel more alive as things are happening because you're doing certain things. It's a great way to add huge narrative to the game and just make you feel like there's more there than just moving pieces around on a board. So this has been Roll with the Punches. Make sure to check us out next time. Let us know if there's any specific games with specific event cards that you really like, and we'll see you guys next time.
Throat Punchies, I'm Forrest from Bower's Game Corner. I'm back again for 3 reasons where I spotlight a game outside the top 1,000 on Board Game Geek that I think you might want to go back and check out. So I was going to do one about a micro game, because I really enjoy micro games, but I couldn't just pick one, so I'm actually going to be talking about a set of micro games that I think you might want to go back and check out. So the first micro game that I really enjoy is Eminent Domain Microcosm from Tasty Minstrel Games. It's 2 players, 10 minutes, and they try to shove Eminent Domain into a micro game. I think there's like 36 cards here. It's got drafting, it's got a little bit of civilization building, lots of different ways to score, and I really love this micro game game. The only problem that I have with this is that the rule booklet is bad. It has like big holes in it, but there's a lot of things that are better rule booklets you can get on Board Game Geek, and if you can get past that, this is one of the better micro games out there. The next game that I want to talk about is Mint Tin Pirates from Subquark. And there are 3 games in the Mint Tin line currently. Mint Tin Aliens, Mint Tin Pirates, and Mint Tin Apocalypse. Mint Tin Pirates is my favorite, I think, by a hair. It is a 2-player, 5 to 15-minute pirate game that surprisingly the theme comes across really well. You're going to be rolling dice and shooting cannons at your opposing ship. There's different ways to win the game, and I really enjoyed this game. I also want to give a shout out to Mint Tin Apocalypse, which is also really outstanding. 2 players, 5 to 10 minutes. This one is a fast-paced dice rolling game where you're trying to get into a fallout shelter, but there's a monster. It's got a built-in expansion. I really like both of these games. Mint Tin Aliens, not nearly as good as these two, but Mint Tin Pirates and Mint Tin Apocalypse, definitely might want to check these ones out. The final game I'm going to talk about is, without a doubt, my favorite micro game of all time. Yes, it's better than Love Letter. Yes, it's better than just about everything, in my personal opinion, and that is Lie from Chris Handy. This is part of the Pack-O game series, and this is game number 6. And if you like liar's dice, if you like bluffing, if you like pressing your luck a little bit, this game is for you. So, in this game, you're going to have a hand of cards, and these cards are going to be double-sided. So they're going to have a number on the top and a number on the bottom. You are going to align your hand how you want to align it. So you might have 4 4s and a 1 or something like that. You're going to line it, and then everyone is going to take turns one-upping the person to their right. So so the person might say, I think all of us combined have 1 6. And then someone will be like, I think we have 2 1s. I think we have 2 4s. I think we have 3 6s. And you continue to go until someone says, I don't want to press it anymore. I'm going to call baloney on what you just said, at which point someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, and then you're going to rinse, wash, and repeat. But one person is going to have less cards. I love it. It is a game that is always with me. That is Lie from Pack-O Games. Not just a great game, but a great micro game. Flip that on its head. So, those are 4 micro games that I think you might want to go back and check out. I love micro games, so let me know in the comments below. What is your favorite micro game? And as always, back to more throat punchy goodness.
It's Mark, and welcome back to Countercharge. And we are back at Recess Games in North Olmsted, Ohio. And we are going to talk a little bit more about if you are a beginning painter, you've got your board game and you want to paint it and you just don't know what to do. You have discovered the Games Workshop paint rack. What's your next step? Well, let's say you just picked up your copy of Zombicide from Jim over here at Recess Games, and you say, Jim, what am I going to do to paint this thing? And don't be afraid to ask your local game shop owner about paints and their recommendations. So why don't we go ahead and bring Jim back in. Jim?
Hello again.
I just bought my copy of Zombicide. What do you suggest I do to paint this particular box game?
Well, Mark, for dark types of creatures like this, I would start with black primer. Spray all your models nice and black. The reason that you would do this, it makes painting the rest of the model a lot easier because you don't have to paint every single inch or speck of the model. You can just use other light colors for their drab clothing or their hair or their weapons or whatever they're carrying, and you can just what they call dry brushing technique and get really nice color on all of your model without it taking forever because you have a lot of zombies in Zombicide.
That's right, and Sam and Rob have shown you guys dry brushing a lot, so you can go back and check out those videos. So, and then you can always, of course, pick whatever colors you want off of the rack, or they also have these paint sets. So last time we showed you the build and paint. This time, this is the layer paint set that they have from Games Workshop. You know, a nice selection of colors with a brush. This will get you started. This one's a little more expensive, but it's worth it because the paints are full size. So, all right, so that's black primer, but you know what? You like chibi miniatures, so you go and you pick up Arcadia Quest, and you go, Jim.
Well, you got to start with white.
Yeah,
and you got to paint a little bit more, but the colors will be a lot brighter. They'll look a lot cooler, and it'll look just like you got them out of a cartoon, out of your TV. So you paint with white first, then you take your bright colors that you want, and you color the whole model like you're coloring by number, and you've got yourself a nice little chibi model.
There you go. And that's the nice thing about the Games Workshop paints is, and we mentioned bright colors. If you take a look up here, these edge paints, they say they're just for highlighting the edges. They are great for chibi miniatures and getting those colors to pop. So very, very cool. And you know, Jim, should a new painter be afraid to talk to their local game shop owner about getting started in the painting hobby?
It depends on who it is, Mark. But no, not at recess, not at all.
Not at recess, no. If you have any problem, you talk to your local game shop owner, and if you're at recess, talk to Jim. He'll get you all set up. So until next time, take care.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Jedi Mind Games. My name's Koray. Today we're going to be going over an Imperial Assault list that I really enjoy running. It's another Imperial list with the Inquisitor, but it's really powerful and I really like what I got going on here. Let's get to the table and I'll show you how it plays. So here we have the Inquisitor and let's take a look at his stat line. He has 15 health and 5 speed, he has a white defense die, and he rolls 3 attack dice, which is pretty good, and he's going to be hitting hard and moving fast. He has a special surge called Deadly, where he can apply a -1 dodge to the defense results. This is fantastic against those rebels that love to roll the white dice. And he can also perform a ranged attack by throwing his lightsaber, doing pretty good damage with it. So one of the things I really like about the Inquisitor is that he can throw his lightsaber. So he can use a red and yellow die and apply +3 accuracy to the attack results. So that's cool because the Inquisitor is faced down with a tough situation. So if I roll this, I get to do 3 damage. So I'll spend the surges on cleave 3 damage and +1 damage. So that's great because I get to hit this Stormtrooper and this Stormtrooper if I wanted to because I'm within range. 1, 2, 3, and 3. If I wanted to, I can hit this officer because he's also within range 3. So if I deemed the officer the bigger threat, I can hit this Stormtrooper and then hit this officer. This is really powerful since it gives a melee character a ranged attack that's fairly potent and you can hit from multiple angles. And with that, let's move on to the Stormtroopers. Now here's the Stormtrooper. I'm using the Elite version, and it's 9 points for 3 figures, and they all have 5 health, 4 speed, they use a black die, and they roll a blue and a green attack dice. They're going to be putting out fairly consistent damage because there's 3 of them when you activate them, so if you get someone locked down, you can pretty much clear a figure with them. They have really nice benefits when standing next to each other. When you're next to another friendly trooper, you may reroll an attack die, and when they die, you can choose any other figure in your group and that figure becomes focused, even all the way across the map. So they're great for taking objectives and sending one lonely Stormtrooper off to maybe secure an objective. If he dies, he focuses another figure. That's really good. Moving on to the Royal Guard. Here we have the regular Royal Guard and it's 8 points, 8 health, 5 speed, and it rolls a red and a yellow for the attack dice. Now this is the more updated card that FFG has released, nerfing them just a little bit, but I still think they're fairly good. These are fairly mobile figures and they have reach, so that means they can use their melee attack within 2 spaces away. That's fairly handy, and you could stun them with it too. Normally I like to keep these guys next to a group of Stormtroopers so I can apply the Sentinel ability, which adds a block to the defense results. It's fairly handy and keeps the Stormtroopers alive that much longer. Also, if one of my Stormtroopers does die around them, then I get the added benefit of Vengeance, so I become focused, I get to roll a green die for my next attack. That's really good. Let's move on to the next figure, which is the Imperial Officer. Now here we have the Imperial Officer. Again, this is another card that FFG has changed, but they're still fairly good. For 2 points, you get 3 health, 4 speed, a white die, and a blue and a yellow die for the attacks. Now what you really get the Imperial Officer for on your list is for the action order. So during a skirmish, you can make a figure gain 2 movement points, and they activate that immediately. So this is a great way to get your figures to move faster, to get in range of an enemy faster, or to take objectives faster. Moving on to the last card in my list is Zillo Technique. Now Zillo Technique is a skirmish upgrade. It's only 1 point, but it's a great point to spend it on. Zillo Technique makes your list a lot harder to kill, because you can add a block when you discard any command die. So if a Stormtrooper is about to die, just discard a command card that you don't think you're going to use, and they're still alive. That's great. Also, you can exhaust this card to reduce the pierce value of an attack by 2. This is great because a lot of units have pierce, so we can negate that on a key figure we want to keep alive. And that's the list I brought to you guys today. I hope you guys learned a little something. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please be sure to put them below and I'll be sure to answer them. If you want to learn any more about Board Game Essentials, please be sure to visit youtube.com/BoardGameEssentials. And with that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your lunch. Take care now.
Hi, welcome to Miniatures World. Well, today we're not going to be talking about miniatures. Actually, we're going to talk about a disagreement that Sam and I had. to somewhat degree. Hobby Zone makes a bunch of different products and tables, and I had inquired about getting a table because I need portability, but I also needed space. I like to paint out here in the studio, and I also like to paint out in my kitchen and spend time with my wife while I do it. So I wanted that portability. Well, I went ahead and I ordered the portable unit, and there just wasn't enough space to hold all the paints and everything like that, and I was quite disappointed. But I found a way, if anybody remembers ever watching any of my Painting 101s, how I showed how to make my own unit, that I was able to incorporate some of their stuff into my old unit. So why don't we go down to the table and take a quick look. Now, if anybody's seen any of my videos, they know that I went down to Hobby Lobby and I basically bought just a regular board and had just screwed in a bunch of different stuff. Well, I unscrewed it, and they had these neat little sections that Sam had showed me to hold all the paint. They had corner pieces, which are really, really nice, and I got 2 of these straights. So actually what I made is almost kind of like a coliseum. Now I have plenty of area to put my camera, plenty of area to work, because I don't just work with one miniature. I usually work with a bunch of miniatures at once. So I have the room and the freedom to be able to have everything that I need on the table at once. And as you can see, these things are really, really nice. There's a couple things I don't like about them, but we'll talk about that when we get up top. But by taking this idea, by just getting a giant clipboard and adding in the sections, and these are glued on now, as you can see, it gives you that stadium effect, and you can have as many paints as you like. You can mix and match different things until you find the combination that you like. So let's head up and get my final thoughts on all this stuff. I like the stuff that they put together. The thing that bothered me was when I first got that table, I had to put it together. And on top of it, it's pretty flimsy, to be honest with you. I mean, it's really not very solid stuff, and with just a squeeze of my hand, I can break it with no problem. And I found it very brittle. These sections are a little flimsy with the cardboard stuff, but it actually kind of works out pretty well if you glue it down to this heavier post board, which worked out pretty well. I like it. I like the stuff. I love the design of it. I just wish it was a little bit sturdier, especially that unit that I had just purchased, which is basically no more. If you really want this stuff, you can go to Broken Table Hobbies. I think that they have a great idea. It's very nice for holding your paints, but if you're going to do it, make sure that it's right for you and the portability works for you. Well, that's it for Miniature World this week. Until next time, I'm Rob Oren, and we'll see you soon.
All right, so hey, that's Throat Punch Lunch. Thanks for joining us. Now, before we actually get out of here, I do have to say that I think Rob just might be confused about how strong he actually is. I don't know that I could break any of the Broken Table Hobbies stuff, the Hobby Zone modular stations, as easily as he did. Now, the product that he broke, I have not received. So I'm not saying that he's right. I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm just saying I think he might be stronger than he thinks he is. I mean, the guy benches over 400 pounds or something to that effect. So, of course, he's going to be able to tear up a bunch of particle board. But listen, you have to try this stuff out for your own. Take a look at it, do your research, see if it's good for you. If it's not, hey, it's not. But I like it. I enjoyed it a lot. So I wanted to share it with you. He likes it too. Just that one product he was very disappointed with. He wanted a little bit more mobility out of it. So, hey, what can you do? Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys on the flip side.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.